Elijah, thank you very much for your time. Do you have any idea at this stage how many matrics received that paper and have actually cheated?
Good evening, Sally. It's extremely difficult because after we issued our media statement, we are receiving more calls from other provinces, learners saying they also received it. I've been fielding calls from KwaZulu-Natal now, and a lot of parents are also sharing screen grabs from the WhatsApp groups in which they belong, and all of that indicates that the learners there had seen the paper before it was written. But there are other provinces as well, getting calls really from all over the place now. So it makes it very difficult because WhatsApp is a very quick tool to disseminate information. And it seems in this case, it is the main channel of preference from most of the people who are involved in this instance.
So it seems, as you're saying, that this paper could have spread far and wide. Have you got a clarity on how many provinces have likely been impacted?
Well, initially we were aware of Gauteng as well as learners located in Limpopo, but we still don't know where it originates from. We're getting calls from other provinces now, the learners saying they too had the paper given to them via WhatsApp groups. So it's not clear where it comes from, but it seems wherever there's a WhatsApp group that focuses on learners who are preparing for examinations, and the paper was shared. So it makes our job very difficult. That's why we've now requested the law enforcement agencies such as the Hawks and others to assist us, because we really need to get to the bottom of this so that we can understand really what took place and at what time, because we need to know. I mean, it can't go on like this. And not knowing exactly how it came up, because it would have been some people somewhere in the system would have breached our protocols and the security system.
So at what point would it put the entire paper in jeopardy? You're saying to me that it's probably spread beyond the 2 provinces that you initially identified. Is there a chance it could actually jeopardize that paper, or do you think you'll be able to ring-fence those who were involved in the cheating at some point?
Well, that's something that will need to be left to the security people to use their resources to nail it down to the actual original culprits. But for now, looking at what we've got, a lot more people were exposed to it. But the good thing about it is that there's lots and lots of cell phone numbers that we have from the conversations that were being had in different WhatsApp groups in different provinces. So we believe when the police who have the resources go through these numbers, they will be able to find the conversations and perhaps the origins of the leak, and then find the main person who leaked it. That's our hope. But going forward, we should be able to protect our papers further, because even this particular incident would have shown people that if you do this, will be caught. The good thing is that also that there are good people out there who don't want to participate in these illegal activities, because even in this instance, it's people, our candidates who volunteered the information that they had seen the paper before it was written. But I was sent the paper as well at about midnight or in the early hours at about 1:30 in the morning via email, several pages of the question paper. And when we checked in the morning, to verify if indeed the content was that of the paper yet to be written today, we found that it was the exact same paper. So you can see that various modes of communication were used, but also various people in different places also chose to share and report to the department what they had seen.
Is it, I know that security is tight around these papers, but ultimately, is it as simple as perhaps one corrupt teacher or person with access to the cupboard where that paper is being held in one school and out it goes? Is that how it probably worked?
Well, it wouldn't be a teacher, because the teachers, they only receive the paper in the morning when it gets distributed to the school. So it would be someone higher up, someone who's involved in the system, perhaps someone close to the distribution, someone very close to the movement of the papers. That's why one of the things that we're looking at now is, when did the paper become available? Because if we know when the paper became available, as the papers move towards the exam centers, we're able to know who is responsible for that part in the chain. And that information will be critical to us so that we're able to find out where the weakest link is so that we're able to strengthen that particular area. But right now, we're open to any information that people will give to us in terms of where it might have originated, because to us, that's the main concern. Yes, it was given to many other people, but where does it come from? The source is critical. And now the documents that we have don't even have that barcode, which will then tell you which province it is that the paper comes.
Elijah, I'm sure there are a lot of matrics stressing this evening about this leak. Honest kids who are going, am I going to have to write this paper again if this leak really is all over the place? What can you say to them tonight?
Well, we urge them to remain calm for now, allow the department to conduct an investigation. We will determine the next course of action once all the facts have been gathered. The backup paper is always there, and it can be easily distributed again for a rewrite, but that is always the last option. What we want to do first is to establish the extent of the leak, how many provinces, how many candidates, and then maybe confine it to a particular area. But if you can't, then you have to take that difficult decision of having to say everyone must rewrite. But even with that, you need to come up with a date. And right now, with the exam schedule having been revised because of COVID-19, it means that we don't have a date, and we will now have to go back to the calendar to see when the rewrite can take place. But we can't say there will be a rewrite just yet, because it's only the early days in the investigation. In due course, once people have been put together to look into the different possibilities on how the paper might have leaked, we will then be able to make a determination on what is going to happen next.
I'm speaking as someone who just scraped through matric maths, and this news would have put fear into my heart. What would trigger a rewrite exactly?
Well, if it has reached more people in more provinces than you can control, when you really do not know how many people have seen the paper and to what extent they use the paper, because some are saying, yes, I've got it an hour before, others 3 hours before, but there is clear evidence that the paper was available much earlier for some, and there's indication as well that others had the paper and they did not sleep. They were working through the answers. That's how we also got to know that the paper is available, because some people were trying to get the answers to the questions that were in the paper. So you can see that some people worked throughout the night to try prepare for the exam using that question paper. So different people benefited in different ways, and now that's what we're trying to determine. But if we determine that really more people than we can imagine had seen the paper before it was written, then it would compromise the entire question paper 2, mathematics. That would then warrant a rewrite. But that decision will be made much later. What we are focusing on now is to assemble the team of investigators, contacting the law enforcement agencies so that they can help us do a quick check. And then once we've done that, then we'll then start interrogating some of the evidence that we've got, and then see how we proceed. But people shouldn't talk about the rewrite just yet.
Yes.
It's 8 days. We will announce that in due course.
All right, so matrics must stay calm. Thank you very much, Elijah Mhlanga. So stay calm. A rewrite is the absolute last resort. But it does seem that this matric leak was not just 2 provinces. It was spread far and wide. Such is the nature of technology and WhatsApp these days. Thank you very much, Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga.